So today we are going to talk about the difference between male entrepreneurs and female entrepreneurs, or how female entrepreneurs are different from our counterparts. So the first one is, in general, women tend to start their businesses later in life, most likely in our 30s, 40s, 50s, and even 60s, whereas men tend to start their businesses in their 20s. So one of the reasons are because women have the tendency of not feeling confident enough, or they don't feel that, or we don't feel that we have knowledge enough to jump into the entrepreneurial world until we kind of feel confident about that we know what we know. So in general, we have that tendency, and we do it after we have already learned the industry, understand the problems, and find the solutions, which I think is very smart, because we already go learn about it, understand, network, we know what's going on, and then we start the businesses. I'm not saying it's not right to start something younger. Please go for it if you have the idea and you have the stamina and the energy and all of the good things when you are younger. Please do. But I'm talking about in general, what happens in general. Well, the second difference is where the money is coming from, right? So because, as I said, women tend to start their business later. In general, they tend to use their own savings, or they ask for family and friends to give them some funding for their businesses. Men, because they start younger, besides family and friends, they also tend to look for investors. And women do that too. It's just that it's a lot harder for women to get funding. So that's why the tendency for female entrepreneurs is to go for savings and other kind of other ways to get money. The third one is that women tend to be more focused on the greater good. So in general, we have the tendencies to start social enterprises, right? We try to give to the communities that are around us more than men. I'm not saying they don't do it. More than men, we have that tendency, and that's one of the big differences when you see what kind of businesses women start versus the businesses that men start. That's one factor that really makes a big difference between the two of us. Statistically, women tend to be more effective leaders. We outperform men. I'm not sure if it is because we are more intuitive, or because we start later in life. We have already had experience on what is working with teams, if you are coming from the corporate world, for instance. So what statistically we have found is that teams that are women-led, or teams where in their board of directors or their management team there is a woman, tend to perform better. They tend to bring more revenues, and in general, the operations and the overall performance of the company is better than when there are no women in those. And finally, we are a lot more self-critical, critical of ourselves, and that's something that we do need to learn from our male counterparts. We tend to blame ourselves on things that go bad, and I'm just giving you an example. If something goes bad at work, in general, it's our fault. I didn't have enough time, or I should have done this, or I should have done that. that it's all about my fault, right? If something goes well, right, it's thanks to the team, everybody did an excellent job, it's because of the guidance I got, the mentors I got, it's everything, the external part. And whereas the men are, if something goes bad, is, the team was not good, the weather was bad, they didn't give me enough time. There are all of these factors that are so independent from who they are. And if something goes well, it's like, thanks to them, they are super smart, they are very good, they know how to execute, etc., etc. So I'm not talking, what I'm talking is that we should learn more from our male counterparts to be a lot more confident and believe more in ourselves. And I'm going to share a story with you. When I was going through a accelerator for female founders, we did a retreat or a boot camp at the beginning of the program, and one of the requirements they asked us to do was to ask one person of every circle, like family, friends, co-workers, to send an essay talking about how we have positively impacted them in their lives, right? So they had to submit that to the accelerator, and then when we did our boot camp, they shared that with us for us to read, and it was very, very impactful and very positive for me personally to see how there are stories that I never thought of and that really impacted them in a very good way. So they did that because women tend to be very self-critical, right? So that gave us this boost of confidence that we are impacting the world in a positive way. So the antidote for that self-criticism is just cultivate self-growth, right? Be kind to yourself, self-compassion. Understand that nobody is perfect, that we make mistakes, that we are learning from those mistakes. It's important to make those mistakes. And that there are things that are out of our control that could happen, right? It's something that happens to men and women. So we need to be kind to ourselves. And we need to learn that. So, well, that's all I have for you guys today. Those 5 little points. Thank you so much again. Please subscribe, ask questions, and I will be happy to answer them. I hope to see you in the next one. Have a wonderful day.